This video is going to be sponsored by War Thunder. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generation discussion on the fallout from Boruto Chapter 8. And today, I want to talk to you guys about one of the biggest elephants in the room that we have following the last Boruto manga chapter, which is now that Sarada has awakened her Mangekyou Sharingan, what will she do in regards to the eventual blindness that comes from overusing the Mangekyou Sharingan in battle? And in particular, how will she be able to get her hands on the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan given the current situations that her father Sasuke currently finds himself in, which is why in today's video we're going to explain just that. So as we all know, Sarada, upon hearing the news that Naruto was dead and seeing with her own eyes that everyone was hunting down Boruto, but she would be helpless to do anything to prevent this from happening, it led to Sarada awakening her Mangekyou Sharingan as she was pleading with her father Sasuke to save Boruto from being killed and to protect him at all costs. However, this currently leaves Sarada without anyone who has a Sharingan to train her and warn her the dangers of using the Mangekyou Sharingan too much, though her mother Sakura is more than aware that the Mangekyou causes blindness, as is Kakashi, the man who likely steps back in to be the Hokage of the village. He's experienced firsthand the dangers of overusing Mangekyou, so Sarada does have some people there who can step in. Assuming that she decides to carefully use the Mangekyou, she could stretch it out without losing it overnight like her father Sasuke did, where he spammed it like an idiot during the 5 Kage summit, whereas people like Fugaku, Shisui, and Itachi each had the Mangekyou for years before they experienced any of the fading light in their eyes. But eventually there will come a time where Sarada does need to get the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan, which is acquired by taking the Mangekyou Sharingan of a close relative and transplanting their eyes into your own. However, the problem for Sarada is that the Uchiha clan is running a little low on members. Herself and Sasuke are the only genetic Uchiha alive right now. The Shin clones don't actually count since Shin isn't an Uchiha, and Itachi's DNA, despite what a lot of fans still think in 2023, Shin's body was never implanted with Itachi's DNA. All we know is that he was obsessed with Itachi and the Akatsuki, but we don't know how Orochimaru made the Mangekyou Sharingan that the Shin clones have. There's no guarantee popping in the manufactured eyes of a Shin clone will do the very thing that many fans want to happen because they aren't close blood relatives. After taking some time to look over the situation and consider all these factors, I've come up with a few paths for Sarada to awaken her eternal Mangekyou Sharingan, which I think each have major ramifications for the story narratively moving forward. The first one is the most obvious one for me, which is that Sarada at some point likely is given the current eternal Mangekyou Sharingan that Sasuke has. That likely would have to happen under the pretense that Sasuke is on his deathbed at some point, because there isn't really any incentive for Sasuke to just give Sarada his last remaining eye unless he's on his way out and he's already entrusted Boruto with the task of protecting the village in his place as the Shadow Hokage. While this would be an unprecedented transfer of power that we've never seen in the series before, where someone with an eternal Mangekyou Sharingan gives that eternal Mangekyou Sharingan to a close blood relative who also happens to have Mangekyou, in theory, the boost in power would be substantially higher than the boost that one gets from transplanting another Mangekyou. We saw Mangekyou Sharingan Sasuke go from being weaker than Pain and Sage Mode Naruto to being strong enough that he was tracking ranged attacks by Jubi Obito and reacting to those attacks, and in that same funky space where he's stronger than KCM1 Naruto but he's weaker than KCM2 Naruto. If a Mangekyou Sharingan transplant can level someone up to that level that quickly, there's no reason to think that an eternal Mangekyou Sharingan transfer that merges the chakra of EMS Sasuke with Sarada to make a new EMS for Sarada wouldn't be something that is an even bigger multiplier. The big question though is, does transplanting one eye do the job, or would one eye not actually be enough to have Sarada going on the warpath in battle, destroying everyone in her path like she was playing the War Thunder video game? This video is going to be brought to you by War Thunder. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made. Play more than 200 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships in dynamic combined arms PvP battles. Every vehicle is incredibly detailed and modeled down to their individual components, offering highly immersive combat experience. You can play for free now on PC, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation PlayStation 5 or the previous generation console, dude, you're getting an extensive collection of vehicles dating back 100 years to 1920s. The customization features are super in-depth, so you can use all types of camouflage, and best of all, you can do anime camouflage. Or you can place historical markers or other components over your vehicles. War Thunder's community site features thousands of user-made skins for vehicles, including anime skins. On top of that, you can also download the anime voice pack mods to alter the dialogue of your crew, which I'm not even gonna lie, that sounds so exciting to just be able to test that out. And if you think this is too over the top, you'll be shocked to know that this actually exists in reality. The Japanese AH-1S helicopter, the Kisarazu, can also be purchased in-game and features an anime design actually used by the JSDF. War Thunder has also added the 3D Dakimakuras to War Thunder, which can be placed anywhere on your tank and can be obtained only by using my link. I don't have to tell you, you can tell by looking at this video that the graphics are so fire that you think you're under a genjutsu. The detailed level of customization is a huge selling point for me personally. Don't waste any time, play War Thunder on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox using my link below, which will also give new players a nice boost to start the game with 7 days of premium account, 100k Silver Lions, as well as a tank, an aircraft, and a torpedo boat, and that lovely 3D Dakimakura. Now, the next path to Sarada getting the Eternal Mangekyou Sharingan comes from her taking a visit to Obito's hideout from the 4th Great Ninja War in Naruto's manga after Sasuke awakened his Mangekyou Sharingan. After Itachi's chakra finished merging into his own, he struck down Zetsu and left the hideout by cutting a hole in the ceiling, but he never actually destroyed the lab itself. Inside of Konoha currently is the one man who knows his way around Obito's hideout and knows the layout very well. Well enough where he could actually find where within Obito's hideout that the lab is hidden, and that person's Kabuto. It's possible that Sarada makes her way there to that hideout and finds Sasuke's original Mangekyou Sharingan eyes and has them transplanted. Those eyes would qualify as being those of a close blood relative, since Sasuke is her father and she is his daughter. In Boruto's anime, we've seen that the area around the mountain graveyard has been converted into a mining town, and the old hideout itself was converted into a set of mines, but as we saw, there are sections that still contain hidden passages that haven't actually been explored, which is why the mutated white Zetsu was still down there waiting and getting active as Momoshiki and Kinshiki drew closer to Earth. Obito's lab still very likely is down there, intact, and hasn't been discovered by anyone yet, making Kabuto the only one uniquely set up to find it, because he's been deep down into that hideout to a point where he saw Obito's Zetsu army on the ground, so he knows exactly where that lab should be. The only downside to this is that Sarada would be receiving a weaker set of Mangekyou than Sasuke did when Sasuke transplanted Itachi's eyes, which we actually know to be the case. This isn't headcanon, we know this to be the case because it's stated in the Naruto Jinraiden story that Mangekyou Sharingan Sasuke still considered himself inferior in power to sick Itachi, so the boost that Sarada might get won't be as large. But considering this would be a Sarada who has trained for multiple years during the time skip, she might be strong enough on her own that she still levels up an alarming amount by transplanting Sasuke's original eyes into her own and allowing that chakra to merge into her body and merge into her own chakra, just as Sasuke stated Itachi's chakra had previously done with his. Now, the third path for Sarada is one that, if it happens, will cause a major set of headaches, and is the one I'm most hopeful is never considered under any circumstances, which is Fugaku Uchiha's Mangekyou Sharingan. The first reason I hope this is never considered is that we were never actually told what happened to the Sharingan of all those who died during the massacre. Many people still incorrectly to this day believe that Danzo's Sharingan arm was made up of the Sharingan of all those people from the massacre, but we literally know this is not the case because Orochimaru confirms he made that arm when he was still a member of Root, which would have been before the Uchiha massacre ever happened. The other reason I don't want this to happen is that Fugaku kept the existence of his Mangekyou Sharingan hidden away where only a few people actually knew about it, which is why the anime original scenes added to the adaptation of Naruto Gaiden really annoyed me, because Sarada was looking through a book with the Uchiha clan on it, and we saw Fugaku's Mangekyou Sharingan pattern in that book, and I don't think that's by mistake. At some point, someone like Sasuke likely helped the people in Konoha write a book about the Uchiha clan and their Jojutsu and gave information on the design patterns of the Mangekyou Sharingan, with more advanced information being reserved for people of a higher rank, which I don't think was by mistake, given how closely involved with early Boruto anime Masashi Kishimoto was, to a point where he was stepping in to actually rewrite and restructure episodes and giving plot ideas to episodes like the Chocho filler arc that everyone seems to hate. That scene likely came at his request as well. And the fact that Sarada was told she needed a higher rank to read the rest, it really bugs me. You would assume the third Hokage had the Sharingan of the Uchiha destroyed after the massacre, but we've seen crazier things come back and get explored later on that we thought were going to be left unaddressed. Now, the other elephant in the room you have with this whole idea here is that, like, while Fugaku's not weak, Itachi during the Uchiha massacre did say that if he got into a battle with his father, that was the worst possible matchup. He wasn't sure he could actually beat his father in a one-on-one battle. Fugaku allowed himself to be killed because he refused to enter into a death match with his own son. It's worth noting that the Itachi from the Uchiha massacre is a lot weaker than the Itachi who Sasuke ended up fighting in Naruto volumes 42 and 43. So that's a really big distinction you have to make. So any boost that Sarada would get, that's getting a much weaker Mangekyou Sharingan eye transplanted than you would have gotten even if you would have took Sasuke's old eyes. Personally, I detest this idea because it opens up a lot of potential problems, like why were Fugaku's eyes spared, and if there are more Sharingan just lying around, why did Danzo not make a move to take them and implant them into some of his most trusted root shinobi, unless Hiruzen had them in an undisclosed location Danzo couldn't get to? Then we have the issue of, would a grandparent's Mangekyou even count as being a close relative, just because there's more genetic factors at play here? A parent to a child is going to be a closer genetic match, just as a sibling to a sibling would actually be. Obviously, Sarada has a few different ways she can attain the Eternal Mangekyou Sharingan, but as we went over each path, after the first, it really leads to a smaller power boost. But the one with the biggest boost also comes with the biggest question, since Sasuke has one eye destroyed already, unless the manga operates under the assumption that the other eye, where the Rinnegan is, by awakening Sasuke's Mangekyou Sharingan powers to just transfer to his other eye, there are going to be problems. Problems that open up Pandora's box if things are not handled in a very delicate way. I have faith that things will get explained in a way that it doesn't feel head scratching, very similar to how we were all worried about how the Shinjutsu was going to be handled and whether or not all the different things about like Boruto's photos on the wall would make people realize Kawaki was lying. We got the very simple line in the manga that the Shinjutsu just makes people overlook things that should stand out to them. I think it's going to be a simple explanation for Sarada's Mangekyou going into an Eternal Mangekyou Sharingan. I don't want to overthink it too much. The lore is pretty straightforward. However, there aren't any problems with you using my link in the pinned comment and the description box to download War Thunder onto your PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. You've really got no excuse not to download it because it's so easy to follow these instructions that even Naruto figured out how to do it. So download War Thunder now.